Ah, so you've come. What is it you're looking for? A bit of knowledge? Or maybe just something to drown out that quiet little hum of your own anxieties? Well, come on in. Let's dissect a story, shall we? This isn't some grand tale of gods and heroes, no. This is about the grit. The persistent, petty little grit in the gears of your life. Let's get started.
Now, before we really dive in, I think it's important you understand who I am. You could say I'm the spirit that eternally denies, the no to every yes, the counter-argument to creation itself. And why? Well, it's simple, really. Everything that comes into being, it deserves to fall apart, doesn't it? It's just so weighed down by its own vexation. And me? I'm just the catalyst.
So, our little drama will unfold in 6 acts. Think of it as a journey, one that starts with the faintest whisper of doubt and ends with that oh-so-modern frustrations. I'd pay close attention if I were you. There will be a reckoning.
All right, Act 1. First things first, you need to meet the star of our show. And no, it's not some snarling monster or some great beast. It's an impulse, a spirit. I like to call it the gremlin. It's that primal urge to provoke. The true master of the minor inconvenience, the one that can unravel even your grandest plans. See, this spirit doesn't show up with a crash of thunder. Oh no, it's much more subtle. It's the maddening little imperfections, you know? The key that isn't where you left it, the pen that runs out of ink at just the wrong moment. It's that constant, nagging no that meets every single one of your ambitious yeses. I am the negation of your peace, and I'm the proof that your sense of mastery is just a fragile little myth.
Now for Act 2. Let's travel back in time. Picture the muck and the smoke of the 11th century. Back then, this spirit didn't even have a name. It just had a job. Its job was to sour the milk, to take the edge off a freshly sharpened blade. Its whole purpose was to make sure that nothing you ever did reached its end without that little stain of agitation.
Your ancestors, the Saxons, they actually had a word for its very essence, grom. And it means exactly what you think it means, hostility. Pure, simple hostility. It's that quiet, nagging whisper in the back of your head that tells you your work is completely, utterly futile.
And how did it do it? What was its method? Well, they had a word for that too. Gramon, to provoke, to anger. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't just random chaos. It's a deliberate, targeted act. You could almost call it a science of irritation. You know, you humans, you just love a good, grim struggle, don't you? A fierce, noble battle against some worthy opponent. But I deny you that pleasure. Instead, I give you something so much better. The petty friction of everyday life. Because, let's be honest, that is where your composure really falls apart. So you see, the stage keeps changing, but the play is always the same. We go from the hearth of the home to the hangar of a plane, and finally, right into the cozy glow of your living room. This spirit, it adapts. It always does.
And that brings us to Act 3. The 20th century rolls in, all smog and industry. And somewhere in that rain-slicked Nar nightmare of the 1920s, the spirit finds a whole new body. It trades in its ancient, formless self for brass gears and whistling valves. It becomes the true ghost in the machine, the gremlin.
And your pilots? Oh, your brave little pilots. They really tried to tame it. They came up with all these cold, technical names for its provocations. Engine stutter, magneto drop. You know, these clinical phrases they used to hide a much deeper, almost gothic dread. They were basically whispering little spells, trying to ward off a demon they couldn't even bring themselves to name. Because, you see, the target was never really the fuel line. It was never the engine. It was the pilot's nerve, the mechanic's last thread of sanity. The machine, well, the machine was just the stage. The real battle was happening right inside their heads. And now for Act 4. Suddenly, the scene just shifts violently. The smog of the 20s? Gone. Replaced by the clean, sterile neon glow of the 1980s. And just like that, the gremlin is out of the cockpit and into your living room. It becomes a movie star, a spectacle, and if you ask me, the perfect critique of your precious age of convenience.
Just look at how your anxieties have evolved. Back then, the mechanic was terrified of a sputtering engine. Now, the suburbanite is terrified of a malfunctioning blender. The invisible enemy in the hangar has been replaced by a cackling little monster in the kitchen. The friction is still there. It's just gone from mechanical to technological.
Which brings us to Act 5.
Because of course, with any shiny new convenience, you get a user's manual. A flimsy little piece of paper, a pathetic attempt to contain the very chaos you just couldn't wait to buy.
3. Simple. Rules. Oh, it's just so quaint. Did you honestly believe those rules were there to protect you? Please. They weren't rules, they were triggers. They were invitations. They were proof that you are the easiest creature in all of creation to provoke, to trick into unleashing your own destruction. All it takes is a simple set of instructions that I know you are destined to break.
And that brings us to our final act. Act 6, the grand finale, the moral of our little story. After centuries upon centuries of frustration, maybe, just maybe, you're finally ready for the truth about why I even exist.
Listen, do you hear that? That's static. That's the sound of your struggle. That harsh, grating noise. That's unresolved friction. That's the sound of a soul trying to fight me, trying to deny that the crack in the foundation is even there. That is the sound of your own resentment.
But what happens if you just stop fighting? What if you just acknowledge the friction, the vexation? Well, something interesting happens. The static, it changes. It smooths out. It becomes a hum, a constant, steady, almost meditative hum. And strangely enough, it's productive.
You see, true mastery isn't about getting rid of all the friction. A world without friction would be a cold, dead universe. No, real mastery is about accepting it. That hum isn't the sound of you failing. It's the sound of creation itself.
Go back to that smith, Alric, in his forge. Do you think he could shape that steel without the searing heat, without the violent smash of his hammer? Of course not. That heat, that violence, that's my gift to you. It is the friction that is absolutely necessary for any work that actually means anything.
So, learning to live with that hum, learning to work with it, that's the only thing that's stopping you from falling right back into the raw, primal hostility of that forge. It's the thin line, the philosophical barrier that separates real creation from just savage, pointless anger. And the choice, as it always is yours.